midnight only for showings of like Star Wars and stuff, because I just wouldn't be able to do it anymore.
It's miserable.
That's what you had to do back when I was in junior high. We went to go see Star Wars Episode 2, and the very first show, if you wanted to see it right when it released, you had to go at midnight.
Yep.
And when I was in junior high, I could do shit like that because my body was still fresh and new.
Yep.
And now I cannot be out. I don't even like being out very much in general, let alone out in the middle of the fucking night.
I feel like midnight releases for a lot of things just sort of went away as time went on. Like, you remember the midnight release for like the Harry Potter books?
Yes.
I went to several of those, and there's that famous internet meme of someone like, there's a line outside the Borders or Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
So, hey, Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yes. Did you see the one where it was a video that was it was around on YouTube for a while. I think it got taken down because of violence or whatever. But like someone tried to pull that at a Barnes and Noble, and someone stepped out of the line and grabbed the guy and hit him right in the face. Just like pummeled him right in the face.
Holy
hit him once that he just fell down on the fucking.
Don't scream spoilers in public, kids.
Speaking of spoilers, we should probably get our show on the road here.
Get it going.
If I can get Streamlabs OBS to.
There we go.
Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
And I've got some bad news to all of our friends and fans at home. There is practically no Star Wars today.
No,
that's not our fault.
I mean, there's not a lot of Star Wars happening at the moment. Yeah. And also there's a ton of other shit happening that we wanted to talk about. So we're just going to talk about that shit.
Yeah. Which, by the way, welcome to the Jedi Enclave Presents. And now this is Podcasting Podcast. A podcast where we talk about Star Wars, and then when
there's Star Wars to talk about.
But then when we're in a weird, Star Wars void doldrum, we talk about other nerd stuff that we like. And tonight, so first of all,
Rings of Power.
Yeah, Rings of Power season finale.
This is in no particular order. This is just.
I have no idea what order we're gonna do this in. It'll be in some order.
Joker Folie à Deux.
Yeah,
we just saw that.
Just minutes ago.
We have thoughts.
Got
about
home.
It.
Yeah. Penguin episode 2.
Penguin episode 2 and Agatha All Alone episode 4.
Yes. And while you're here, if you could give us a like on Facebook, follow us on YouTube and Twitch, and join us on Discord. And then I think next weekend we resume our Buzz recap.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
That'll be
Game of Thrones season 7?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I just got a text from my partner. They did not place at their marching band competition. So
sad.
That's all right. You'll get over it. So yeah, that's where we are. We will be reading comments as we go along. So please, chime in with your thoughts and your, whatever the fuck, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't personally annoy me, I might read it aloud so that our tens of fans can hear it.
All dozens of them.
Yes, I don't know what is happening with my iPad right now, but it is freaking the fuck out. I don't know why everything is blue.
Just work with it.
I'm gonna put that away and not worry about it anymore. I'm just gonna put it out of mind, and hopefully our stream is fine.
So what are we starting with?
Let's start with Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Because I want to make sure we give due diligence for Rings of Power, because
it had the season finale, so that's kind of a big deal.
You know that they're by the way, like Amazon is gonna announce fairly soon that they're renewing for a third season. Which I think is interesting, because this is one of those shows that people love to hate online, but I think plenty enough people are watching it. And Amazon is one of those things where, like, if Jeff Bezos wants to do a show like this, a Lord of the Rings show that costs this much every other month,
he can just do it.
He could, and he would never miss the money. Right? So if he's attached enough to this idea, I don't think he cares how much money it makes. I think they're just going to keep making them,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's fine because I think the second season has been good.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it. It's not.
So, like, last time we talked about this, I think you mentioned that Amazon was very blatantly trying to make their own Game of Thrones.
Right.
And that's fine. I mean,
Yes.
it makes sense for them to do that because Game of Thrones made tons of money.
So much money. Captured the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Amazon would love to do that. And the end result is maybe not quite as good as peak Game of Thrones. I'm not the authority on that.
Nowhere close.
But, like, it's fine.
And that isn't to say that it's bad. It's just that peak Game of Thrones is exceptional.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And I find myself judging things sometimes by, do the powerful moments in this show make me weep like a small little child? There are moments all over Game of Thrones that make me do that. There are moments in House of the Dragon that make me do that. And while I've enjoyed the ride so far with Rings of Power, I've watched every one when it came out, and I was excited to see it.
Yeah.
There weren't any moments like that. And I forgive it for that, because I don't need every show I watch to move me on some deep existential level to where I think about those characters all the time and fall in love with the characters and everything. That being said, the season so far has looked amazing.
Yep.
The music has been out of this world. Like Bear McCreary writes fucking good music. I like the acting performances. The guy particularly that plays Elrond, I like him a lot. I think he's really cool. Which, by the way, I loved him in Game of Thrones when he played middle-aged Ned Stark.
Oh yeah.
And there are the guy that plays the stranger, who we're going to keep calling until we talk about what happens later.
Prince Durin is one of those standout performances for me.
I think I might like all of the dwarves, and we're going to talk about the cold open of this episode.
Oh yeah.
About how, and this is consistent with like the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings. Dwarves, once they decide to do something,
they just fucking do it.
They're balls deep.
Yeah.
Like there's no stopping them, and it's like you better fail or not, it will be a spectacle, right? And there were one of those moments like early in the episode.
It's like a giant boulder, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to get moving,
yeah.
But once you do, it is going down that mountain.
Yeah. And so like there was a cool moment right at the beginning of this episode where I was like,
all right. Yeah.
All right then. But like, in general, I think that I think the second season was better than the first, despite the fact that I found myself missing the actor that played Adar in the first season, who also plays Uncle Benjen, by the way, in Game of Thrones. He's kind of an exceptional like character actor, and I kind of wish I had brought him back. I imagine. I'm not sure what the story is there. Maybe there was a scheduling thing. And I found myself liking the guy that they got well enough, right? And
he's slotted in well enough that I at first did not notice there had been an actor change. Maybe that's just me being generally unobservant, but
yeah, they have a similar like long face, Yeah. So yeah, let's get into spoilers so we can get through this. So like at the end of the last episode, the dwarves are supposed to go save everyone,
and they don't
at Eregion, and they don't because
and it's like, what the fuck's going on with that? Well, it turns out fucking King Durin III is going balls deep, trying to go deeper and harder into the mountain.
Yes.
And all the dwarves are like, no, you shouldn't do that. And, stop killing us with your axe. We're trying to make you stop doing that.
And he's like, no, I think I'll kill everyone.
This ring is telling me to go deeper and harder, so that's what I'm going to do.
I like how the episode opens on Durin trying to find his dad.
Yeah.
Right? And then telling his wife, like, look, you're going to hear some shit in there.
No matter what happens.
Don't come in.
Do not go in.
And I like how he goes deeper into the mountain and he finds King Durin all by himself with his little ram tool, just fucking, and he doesn't care that he's the only one doing it. He's like, this hole is happening. Yes. I don't care if I have to do it my fucking self.
And Prince Durin shows up and is like, dude, fucking chill out. I got my axe here. I will cut your fucking hand off to get that ring off you.
Yeah, and he's like, no, you won't. You little pussy. No, you won't.
Actually, you're right. I won't.
Yeah.
But will you please take the ring off?
Yes. I will continue to ask nicely.
Yeah.
And we'll see where that gets us.
King Durin's like, it's not getting you anywhere, bitch, and rams through the wall.
Yep. Gets the hole that he wanted. And he's like, ooh, we get to go
Look
deeper.
At all this mithril.
Yeah.
It's just
which there's tons of it. Yeah, there's tons
of it. It's just
of
running all the way down the mountain. But you know what else is in there? At the very bottom of the hole,
the fucking Balrog.
A Balrog of Morgoth.
Yeah.
Just fucking comes up all fire and wings and horns and shit.
This Balrog looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks so good. And I read somewhere that like there's a lot of it that's like practical.
That would make sense.
Which blows my mind. And he looks a lot like the one in Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah. And I think this is the moment facing this fucking hellspawn from the deep where King Durin is like, oh,
you know what?
Uh-oh.
Maybe I fucked up.
Yeah, he looks down at the ring and then
he's like,
Durin,
you son of a bitch.
and he's like, I'm going to take this off now.
Take this off? That is your problem now. Yeah. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Which, by the way, he's like, you know what? I can't fix this.
No.
But you're not going to be able to say I didn't try.
Takes his axe, fucking runs right at the Balrog.
Jumps off the
cliff.
And it's like, that's exactly what a dwarf would do. Yeah. The dude was like, you know, fuck it. I'm going airborne. See you fucking later. And the Balrog immediately kills him. He's like, fuck you. And he just kills him.
Kills him. Knocks Prince Durin out of the hole and senseless.
Yeah, which, by the way, fucking Godspeed, King Durin. You came to your senses in the end. This is all technically your fault.
This is all your fault.
Yeah, but
what a way to go.
Yeah. I love that shot of him just flying in slow motion at the Balrog with his fucking axe. Because that dude knows. He's like, oh, I'm about to die. But you know what? I bet everyone standing behind me thinks I look so fucking badass. And you know what? He does. Yeah. He looks fucking cool. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, thus the end of fucking King Durin III. He calls his son the king. And it is an exceptionally emotional moment for, I guess, now King Durin, which we find out later at the end of toward the end of the episode. His ascension might not go as smoothly as everyone hopes. But he his wife comes in here at some point, right? Yeah. She's like, I know you told me not to come in here, but I do my own shit.
She drags him out.
And I like how that fucking whip comes up, just like in Fellowship of the Ring, and I thought just for a moment maybe, I don't know, there'd be some kind of thing, and it's really cool. I really enjoyed it, and I like how this immediately the dwarves are like,
well,
so first question, can we plug the hole and just keep it down there?
Yeah.
And never look for mithril again? And he's like, I don't know. And I don't know how how everyone who hears about this incident isn't like, I'm leaving this fucking mountain. Because it's just a gaping hole in the wall. Like, there's nothing stopping that thing just from coming up.
Well, in their defense, it is a hole that is much smaller than the Balrog.
For now.
Yes.
I assume that he can make it bigger.
Probably, yeah. But like for right now, the Balrog is probably busy,
Balrog.
At least temporary. A Balrog of Morgoth.
And do you think that they're eventually going for like a head-to-head, like Sauron versus the Balrog?
No, because I think the Balrog is on Sauron's side. I mean, they're both.
You think they had like a chat before? That's why he went to the mountain. Maybe he went down there real quick, maybe. And he's like, "Hey man, what's up?"
Well, I mean, they're both former servants of Morgoth, so I figure they've got some kinship there.
I never realized this is proof that I'm not like a huge Lord of the Rings nerd, but I didn't realize that the Balrog wasn't just a crazy, creature that just ran on impulse. Like it's a thinking like agent and everything.
It's an intelligent creature.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. So,
so let's see. You want to go to the east for a second? Check in.
Well, let's go to stores. Let's go to where do we leave these guys? The Stewards and the Harfoots are hanging out, and the fucking Dark Wizard shows up.
Yep.
And then the Stranger shows up.
Yep. Stranger comes in, the village is all dark and deserted. And the Dark Wizard is like,
dark
hey.
and full of terrors.
Yeah. Dark Wizard is, hey, what's up? So, like, I know your name.
Yeah.
And like,
I know a lot more about you than you think,
Yeah.
actually. I know where your stick is.
Uh-huh.
I know what your name is.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, I think, we knew each other, and we've had talks, and we're buddies.
Yeah.
I'll tell you all about that shit. And he's like...
Just fucking come chill with me.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, your Hobbit buddies are safe.
They're completely fine.
And
totally safe.
Then the one idiot guard like walks up with a knife to their throat, and the stranger's like, he doesn't look very
not
safe.
Perfectly safe.
And this leads to a confrontation between the masked dude,
the Riders of Rune or whatever. Yeah.
And I can't tell if this was supposed to be staged, where they're supposed to, have the Dark Wizard kind of like save the Hobbit guys a little bit, so he seems a little bit more, benevolent. Yeah. Or if the writer's like, I'm so fucking tired of wizards, fuck you guys.
I feel like it's the second one, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
So like the Dark Wizard like knocks the fucking riders around and they all leave, so the hobbits are fine. And then
he's like, look, I saved your hobbits.
Yeah.
Now we should go replace Sauron. And he's like,
wait a minute.
Because, look, I was on board up until that point.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to replace Sauron. I want to kick his ass.
Yeah.
And
he's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll kick his ass.
We'll kick his ass, and then
we'll
take
replace
his
him.
place.
Yeah. He's like,
no.
I don't
want to do that.
I think we need to talk. You're missing the point of this. It's making me upset, I think.
And the Dark Wizard's like, well, I think you're missing the point, but also rocks fall, everybody dies.
Yes, all your friends die, goodbye.
Don't call me, I'll call you, bye.
Yeah. Pretty much he's like, when you're ready to stop being an asshole.
When you're ready to stop being a little bitch.
Yeah. By the way, I think I saw some people wondering if this is Saruman.
I think it's supposed to be.
Is it?
I think so.
Because he doesn't have the same stick.
Well, I mean, sticks are fungible.
Well, they're not, though. That's what we've learned, right? Like, I think you have to have the same one all the time.
Maybe? I don't know.
Look, I paid very close attention every time Tom Bombadil said anything in this show because I'm in love with him. I think he's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that the stick finds the wizard, and then they're, like, married for life.
Okay, fine.
They never, they're monogamous.
Yeah. So rocks are falling. Stranger's like, no, don't fall.
He does a fucking lifting rocks thing. Yeah. Where he's like, look, bitches, I have the Force.
A couple of the rocks.
There's our Star Wars tie-in for this episode, by the way.
There we
go.
Yeah. A couple of rocks do kill some hobbits, but it's not anyone who has a name.
No,
so
yeah,
they don't really care about them.
Honestly, they're better off probably.
And then, like, in the aftermath, the hobbits are all like, all right, well, our home was just fucking destroyed, so I guess we're going to go be migratory now. Thank you for saving those of us that you did save, Grand Elf. We're going to go. Bye.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, hold on. What'd they call him?
Grand Elf.
Yes, and they're like, look, hobbits are stupid. They don't know the difference between elves and people, so they think you're a fucking elf. Yeah. And, and he's like, that has a nice ring to it, but not quite the best ring.
I think I need to twist it just a little bit.
This leads to a conversation. Well, first of all, there's kind of an emotional talk between.
So Poppy and Nori decide that they're gonna stick with the hobbits instead of the stranger.
Yeah, because it's it's their people, and there's this really bittersweet conversation between Nori, right, is the one that was hanging out with him, where she was like, "Look, we're not even dating. Like, we should go and do our own thing." And he's like, that sucks, but yeah, you're probably right. And she's like, see you later, bitch. And then they part ways.
Well, I think he says, we're very different people. And she says, not so different as you think.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if I'm not mistaken about the lore, which, whatever, but Gandalf has like a weird obsession with hobbits in general, right?
Yes.
He just likes hanging out with them, I think.
He just likes them, yeah.
Nori's the reason why, I would assume.
Because, like, hobbits have, like, the inquisitiveness and inventiveness of men, but they're also kind of content to just live in a hole in the ground and eat 7 meals a day. Like, they don't have the grand ambitions.
If I was allowed to eat 7 meals a day and not wear shoes ever, I think I'd be content to do that all of my life, too.
Yeah. Yeah, hobbits are just chill. Like, they don't have great ambitions or anything. They just want to live their lives.
Yeah. So the stranger, now that his friends have moved on, is like, I'm kind of lonely. I'm going to go find Tom Bombadil.
Wait a minute. What's this cool stick on the ground?
All right. Yeah, out of the wreckage of the Dark Wizard, he's like, I guess this is my stick.
Yeah, it's my stick. It has the little twiggy thing.
It looks just like the one from the Peter Jackson movies.
So he goes walking on back to Tom Bombadil, who's making some tea.
Yes, and there's a reveal, I think, that I at least predicted, which was this was all a test. And I think when in the previous episode when he was trying to get his stick, he was supposed to abandon his search for power to go help his friends, which is exactly what he did.
Yep.
And Tom Bombadil is like, well, if you didn't pass that fucking test, isn't that cool? And Tom is like, so you figured out your name, right? And he's like, yeah, I know they said Gandalf, but it's going to be Gandalf, I think. And he's like, yeah, I think it is too.
Yeah. So
then they stop for an audience applause and everything.
And then they sit down by the fire and they drink their tea and sing a
nice song together. Yeah.
It's
fucking, that's a
I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure it's line for line.
Oh, it's straight from the book, yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring,
right? Yeah, because he's talking about his fucking his blue coat and his yellow boots and shit. Yeah,
his river wife and what else?
All right, so let's go to Numenor real quick. So Farazan figures out that
Farazan has not taken Muriel's survival well.
Yeah.
Like he was really counting on her getting eaten by the sea snake, and that kind of didn't happen. So now he has gone from being very secure on the throne to possible succession crisis.
Yeah, there's like a sign hanging on the door when people come into the work. They're like, sea snakes are now illegal.
So what he does, he gathers up all the faithful, the people who are like hyper.
Well, he figures out first that Halbrand's true identity is Sauron, right? I think he figures that out in the previous episode when he touches the magic balls.
The Palantir.
Yeah. Where he's like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I don't think he really cares. I think he's like, oh, this is ammunition. This is a political tool I can use to secure my ascension. And that's what he kind of called everyone in for, right? So he called like all the priests and shit. It's like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And they're all like, the fuck, it's real late. And he's like, I know, but we have business. So it turns out your queen is in league with Sauron. And they're like, do you have any proof of that? And he's like,
I'm the king. I don't need proof.
Do you have any proof that she's not? And they're like, I don't think that's how that. And he's like, I'm the king. It is how it works.
I am the law.
Yes.
It works how I decide it works. You're all going to jail
now.
Oh,
yeah. By the way, you go to jail.
Every single one of you, all throughout the city, all your faithful, they're all going to jail.
No more. Oh my God. Am I on Farazan's side?
I don't think you want to be.
He rooted out religion in Numenor.
So anyway,
I don't like his methods.
Yeah.
Bad authoritarian methods.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah. Right.
So the soldiers go through Numenor and bashing down doors and dragging out the faithful, and Elendil's daughter, whose name I've always forgotten.
Arian.
Okay, so she goes down to find Elendil where he's working as like a bartender or whatever. She's like, dude, you need to fucking hide. The guards are coming. They're going to drag you off to prison. And Elendil's like, dude, I've fucking been through this several times. Oh, wait, did I hear some doors being beaten down? Maybe I'll go hide.
Yeah.
So then the soldier comes up to the bar and what's her name is like, there are no faithful here. Move along. And the soldier's like, well, maybe I should check back there just to make sure. And she's like, maybe I should tell Farazan to rip your balls off.
Yeah.
He's like,
well, but I like my balls.
Fair point. I will just go over here now.
Yeah.
And he goes over there. And when what's her name goes to look, Elendil is gone.
Yep.
He has pulled a Batman.
And he went to go find his girlfriend, the
Queen Muriel.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, so again, we have to leave.
Yes.
And she's like, again?
Like, we have some buddies on the west side of the island.
Yeah.
We'll just go over there and chill with them for a while.
Yeah. And then she's like, again, and I can't stress this enough, no. That's not how this works. I'm staying here forever.
You need to go, though, because I saw it in the Elfstone that you ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
So get to riding.
And he's like, fine.
Oh, but before you go, take this cool sword.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's the fucking
Narsil.
Yeah, which is the sword that's
So it is the sword that Isildur uses to cut Sauron's ring off.
But it breaks.
Yes,
right?
it breaks, and the shards are transported to Rivendell, where they're eventually reforged into Andúril, the Flame of the West, the sword of Aragorn in Return of the King.
Wow. You have a little nerd boner there, Chris, explaining all of that.
No, I was just I was channeling Stephen Colbert.
Oh yeah, that was very Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
That man loves Lord of the Rings. Also, I remember that part of that movie.
I remember that one time on the Colbert Show where someone presents him with the prop of Andúril, and he's like, "Oh yes, let me tell you about this sword."
So he fucks off with a cool fucking sword.
Yep.
So Elindir?
Who are you talking about?
Elindelf? Isildur.
Isildur.
Yeah, is
he's chilling with the other people at the old Númenorian village.
Right. And he's there with Theo, and they have a little talk, and like Isildur still wants to fuck what's her name, but she's got a fiance. But then he's like, or we could leave and you can just ghost him entirely.
Yeah,
she's like,
you can come to Númenor with me.
I hadn't thought of that.
Sure, let's get on the boat.
Let's do that. So they go out to get on the boat, and then that motherfucker Kemen shows up.
That's his name now, Kevin.
Yeah. Kevin. Well, it's Kemen.
Kemen.
But you know what? He is such a Kevin.
Yeah.
Like that could not be more true.
Also, his proper name, that motherfucker Kevin.
Yeah, and he like gets off his little gay boat, and I say that as a gay man, and flicks his little gay cape, and he's like,
"I'm in charge here."
Yeah, your base belong to me. And
yes.
By the way, you like your dad's accused of treason. You can go, but you can't take your fucking.
Yes, we have no room on the boat for low men.
Which, by the way, she is about to get on the boat with Isildur. Her fiance is like, "Wait, what's happening?"
Huh?
And then he's like, "No, you can't go." And so she goes and stands next to him, and he's like, "Were you going to leave?
Hold on.
Were you about to leave with that man?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, hold my hand." And he's like, "Okay."
So that motherfucker Kevin is like, "All right, look, we have some food and stuff, and it's about to be winter here.
Winter is coming.
If you want food, go into the forest and chop down some trees. I know you might have made a deal with the Ents in the last episode, but we really need that wood, so..."
Yeah, but, and I can't stress this enough, fuck the Ents.
Yes.
Or actually don't. I don't even want to think about what kind of offspring that would.
Well, I mean, the Ents have the Ent wives.
Yeah.
So they make, presumably very slow wood sex. Do you want to move on?
Well, I'm just thinking like someone's drawn art of that.
Yeah.
Because it's the internet.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on. I don't want to think about that ever again.
Trees boning.
Yeah. A lot of wood.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Eregion,
Yes.
everything is on fire.
Things are not going well.
Everything's very on fire.
Yes.
Also, Celebrimbor not having a good day.
No. So Celebrimbor is up in his workshop where everything's on fire, and Sauron has like shot a couple of arrows through him in like
some non-fatal,
non-lethal areas.
Yeah.
So like he's got one in each leg, he's got one in each shoulder, and Sauron's like, "Look what you made me do.
Yeah. Stop punching yourself."
Look what has happened to
And then
you.
he takes his
entirely
hand,
because of your own affairs.
and then he slaps him with his own hand. He's like, "Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself." And Celebrimbor's like, "I'm a fucking elf. What? Do you think I'm going to fall for that stop hitting yourself bullshit?"
Sauron's like, "But seriously, what happened to those rings?"
I like how he flicks the one little arrow.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, does that hurt?"
Like, he grabs that one arrow and
Yeah.
tweaks it
Yeah.
all the way over and then lets it go.
I like how also Celebrimbor is like, "You know what? Just fucking kill me.
Yeah.
I'm so over this
I
bullshit."
am so done with you.
Yeah. I never should have been friends with you.
Yeah. He's like, "All right, look. Who do you think you are? The fucking Lord of the Rings or something? Like, you think you own those rings, but they own you, and one day they're going to destroy you."
I like how he says Lord of the Rings, and Sauron's like, "Ooh,
I kind of like that, actually.
that sounds nice."
And then Sauron gets a little pissy and picks up a spear and, like, stabs Celebrimbor
because
and,
he
like,
says something
pins him
that
up to
kinda-
the pillar.
He kind of
I think it was the rings, like, one of them will destroy you. Or
yeah,
something.
and I'm not really sure if it's maybe Sauron has kind of seen a vision of something like that, or maybe like he senses like, or maybe he knows he can't.
I think he's just really irritated.
Yeah, he's just at his wit's end.
Yeah.
He's like, I hate this city. I hate this fucking city.
I know you have information that could possibly help me, but I am just so done with your shit, Celebrimbor. Yeah. Just tell me where the fucking rings are.
He spears him on a spear, fucking kills him, and just leaves him there up on the fucking wall.
Pinned to the pillar.
And then enter the orcs,
come in, including Adar's right-hand orc.
Glug. That's what it says in my notes, Glug. So, with a little thing. I don't know, how do you pronounce that little thing?
I don't know, actually. So Glug comes in, and he's like looking around, like, what the fuck happened here? Hey, wait a sec. Are you Sauron?
Sauron flips around and like moves his hair, and he's like,
I have been called that before.
Yes. And let me talk to you about how much of a little bitch Adar is.
Yeah.
And Glug is like, I'm listening.
Yes.
And that's how the scene ends.
I'm intrigued.
I saw someone mention something about how every time someone asks him about being Sauron or something, or what his name is, he doesn't answer.
Yeah.
And
he always says, I have many names or something.
Yeah. And someone's like, do you think he just really hates that name, Sauron?
Maybe.
Like how a lot of people hate their middle names.
I don't know.
So anyway, yeah, he starts pouring that honey into Glug's ear. So Galadriel.
Yes, Galadriel is leading the women and children out of town.
And of course they get caught by a band of elves. Orcs, yeah. Shit.
So she's like, all right, look, I know you're after me. If you just let them go, I will go with you and not even stab any of you. And they're like, well, why the fuck would we do that? Like, why would Adar care about you? And she's like, well, I have 9 reasons right here.
Jingle.
Let me just pull the bag out of my bra strap and jingle it for you so you can hear these 9 magical rings made to corrupt the minds of men.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, we get it. You have the fucking rings.
Yeah. So they take her up to Adar. And Adar is shot from behind, like kneeling, leaning on a rock. And
looks like he might be praying or weeping or something.
So like they let Galadriel go and like toss her sword on the ground, and like Adar puts his hand up on the stone, and you can see that he has Galadriel's ring on.
Mm-hmm.
And they start talking a little bit, and Adar stands up and turns to her, and all the scars are gone.
Yeah, he doesn't look so fucked up.
He looks completely healthy.
Yeah, and she's like, "Damn, you're fuckable."
He's like, "Ever since I put this ring on, all my problems went away."
Yeah, she's like, no, I know. I've worn it already.
He's like, okay, so I'm going to take this ring off and give it to you. Mm-hmm. And don't mind the, weird shit happening to the sides of my head. Why don't you take that and let's go kill Sauron? Like, right the fuck now. Like, this was always the deal. Like, they would work it
was a massive show of trust.
Yes.
For him to take the ring off and give it to her. Yeah. And she's like, all right.
Let's do it.
I'm convinced. Yeah. Let's go.
So just then, some orcs come in carrying Glug on a stretcher, and Adar's like, "Oh my god, what happened?" And
no, Glug, my favorite.
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, Glug was talking to Sauron, and Sauron was trying to turn him against you, but Glug wasn't having it."
And then he kicked him in the nuts.
Yeah,
so
Sauron.
This is what happened to him.
And Adar like kneels down next to Glug and is like, "Oh god, I'm so sorry. What can I do for you?" And Glug is like, "It's too late." And Adar's like, "No, he's not. You're gonna be fine." Glug's like, "No, it's too late." And then he fucking stabs him in the side.
Yeah.
And then all the orcs just get up and start stabbing Adar. It is brutal.
It is fucking...
It is a deliberate parallel of the scene in episode 1 of this season where they all stab Sauron.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. So obviously the look on Adar's face is like, oh no, I like these guys. Yeah. I love you guys.
Yeah, these are my children.
But you gotta know, like, his internal monologue is like, fucking orcs, man.
Yeah. So obviously this was so telegraphed that I was calling it an episode or 2 ago.
Oh, that they were gonna kill him.
That he was gonna
because he gave the order to like march and everything.
Yeah, and Glug was like, I thought you loved us.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, I love you so much that I don't want to let you be slaves to Sauron. Like, I'd rather you die.
Yeah.
And Glug was like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
So
Sauron shows up.
Well, this reveal, by the way, is pretty neat because, well, first of all, Adar has the head thing,
the crown of Morgoth
on the tree that he's like crying on or
just
whatever.
Chilling there.
it's like Galadriel hears a sound and she looks over, and the way they shoot his reveal.
This whole scene is done in Dutch English.
Right, which was like very unsettling.
Very jarring.
Yeah. And you just see his, like, it's Sauron because he's wearing that getup, right? Mm-hmm. And you just see him, you don't see his face, you just see his hand reach from off screen and grab the fucking head thing.
This is mine now.
I don't know, I can't remember the word crown, but and he's like, how many people do you know have a fucking pointy crown? How fucking cool is this? And she's like, it looks like it could be used as a weapon against you. And he's like, I know.
I know. Ask me how I know.
Yeah. And then
he's like, okay, so now that Adar is dead, like he's lying on the ground, you've all stabbed him like 30 times. Why don't you go burn Eregion to the ground?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great way for you to spend all your energy. And the orc's like, yeah, let's go burn Eregion to the ground.
They're like, might as fucking well.
Yeah. So Galadriel's like, okay.
This is right around where he just fucking murders Glog, right?
No, that happens at the end.
A little bit later, yeah.
So Galadriel's like,
spoilers, he murders he murders Glog.
So Galadriel's like, I think I'm gonna kill you now, and Sauron's like, you're welcome to fucking try.
Yeah, that's what we haven't had in this season for a bit, a good old fashioned sword fight. And she's like,
so Galadriel picks up her
what do you
sword.
know? There's an elf sword on the fucking ground. Let's go.
Sauron's
fucking sword comes out of nowhere, right?
I think he takes Adar's sword. I'm
because
sure
it's like that.
It's the black and
also,
spiky.
That sword is fucking cool.
It's pretty
Adar's
cool.
Yeah.
So Sauron has Adar's sword in one hand, the fucking crown in the other, and they fight. And for a while, it goes pretty badly for Galadriel.
Yeah.
But like she fights and backs him up, and he starts using illusions. So he appears as Halbrand.
Where I was like, oh, I'd probably quit right there. I'd be like, all right, I'm on your side.
And then they fight, and he ducks behind a rock and comes down, and he looks like Galadriel. Mm-hmm. And then like it happens again. Now he looks like Celebrimbor, and he's like, dude, like, what are we doing here?
I forgot what Celebrimbor looks like without
being fucked up.
Yeah, like he's a handsome man. Yeah. It's like, it's nice to see you without a bunch of holes and you despairing over the rings,
So eventually they get to this cliff edge, and Sauron takes the crown and like fucking stabs her through the chest with it. He's like, I was going to make you my queen.
Yeah. He's like, no, but really.
Like, we could be buddies here.
You have no idea how whipped I could have been.
Yeah. Like, I would have made all Middle Earth bow down to their Queen of Light.
Do you believe him?
No.
I don't.
No. Sauron.
I imagine he probably doesn't feel stuff like that. Like that's a kind of like love that he's not really capable of. Yeah.
I think there is room for one top dog in his worldview.
Yeah.
Like, he is still just trying to get the rings away from her.
Yeah.
So, like, he unstabs her. She falls to the ground. He picks up the bag with the 9 rings. He's like, excellent.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Got him. All right. This is what I wanted.
Oh, yeah. And I want yours, too.
Yes. So she stands up and, like, looks at Eregion burning. And
she like puts the ring on her middle finger and is like, come and fucking get it.
And he like thinks really loudly, give me your ring.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, they're doing a little telepathy thing, right? He's like,
and like she turns around and like for a second, like she takes the ring off her finger and she's like, you want to heal Middle Earth? She's like about to hold it out. He's about to take it. She's like, heal yourself, bitch.
Fuck off.
Jumps off the cliff with the ring.
Fucking Luke Skywalker's it.
And that's the last we see of Galadriel for a little while. So Sauron is standing there looking at this.
He's like, well, okay, so I'm just going to go down there and get it. Like,
yeah. So
you've cost me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all.
So we're telling this out of order because some other stuff has happened, but Glug shows up and says, like, we got to get out of here. Like, the dwarves... Oh,
yeah. All right, the dwarves show up.
Yeah, the dwarves just showed up and they're kicking our ass. Like, we need to get out of here.
Ridiculous, yet awesome fucking face masks. Yeah. Where they all have epic fucking beards anyway, but they're like, no, we need armor for the beards. Yeah. And so, like, all their armor has these big billowy beards and shit.
So anyway, Glug is like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Oh, God, you just stabbed me.
Yeah.
And Sauron's like, no.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't even like you.
You're all going to get down there and keep killing.
Yep.
Like, go.
And the orcs are like, oh, he's not fucking around.
Okay, I guess.
Let's go.
So down in the city that's burning, Eregion. So the orcs have made a nice pile of all of Celebrimbor's scrolls and books and shit.
Right.
And Elrond and Gil-galad are there. And Elrond's like, dude, don't burn that.
The wealth of the knowledge there is beyond your tiny fucking brain to understand.
Literal millennia of knowledge accumulated by the greatest craftsmen to ever live. Yeah. Like, please don't burn that.
And they're like, well, joke's on you. We can't fucking read.
Yeah,
and they just set fire to it.
Set it on fire. And Elrond's like, son of a bitch.
I thought it was pretty poignant, actually, that, like, the king, I think, the king or Elrond or maybe both of them were like, dude, just kill us. Like if you really want to fuck everything up, just kill us, but, like, don't.
Well, there's also a nice shot of Gil-galad as he's being led through the street by the orcs, of him, like, rotating his ring to kind of hide.
So they don't understand what it is.
So they don't realize what it is.
Yeah.
So Elrond and Gil-galad start fist fighting the orcs, and the orcs are like, no, we're not supposed to kill them. Just restrain them. And, like, somehow Arondir is there. Like, I don't know how he survived.
Well, I think they captured him.
Well, he got stabbed.
Oh, right.
Like, he got stabbed pretty good. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, Adar fucked him up.
Yeah.
How did he not die?
I'm not sure.
I'll have to look that up.
Maybe it's in the behind the scenes or something, but
maybe Galadriel is like, and you're healed.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's all they'd have to do. It would be that easy.
I don't think Galadriel was even there, but anyway. So the
she could walk in through a plot hole.
Yeah. So things are not going well for the elves, but look, the dwarves showed up.
Yep.
And the dwarves have their fucking crossbows, and they're shooting all the orcs, and they have their axes, and they're hacking them up, and everything's going better than expected.
Yeah.
So Elrond and Gil-galad just sort of look over their shoulders and say, hey, is that fucking Galadriel falling off a cliff? Oh my god.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
Well, shit. Maybe we should go
we better go check on her. I think she fell off a mountain.
So they go find Galadriel, and Gil-galad starts using his ring to heal her, and is like, wait a minute, she got stabbed by the crown of Morgoth. Like, that wound is not healing. That it has some real dark shit going on.
Some bad juju.
Elrond's like, I really didn't want to do this, but, you know, she has this ring, so let me fucking...
It's the one thing that could convince Elrond to put that ring on is to save Galadriel, which, by the way, probably was somehow Sauron's idea in the first place.
Could very well be.
Like, we'll find out in 2 seasons. He's like, oh, yeah, that...
It was all according to my design. So Elrond puts on the ring, and he and Gil-galad together heal her. So Galadriel wakes up... little distance away I'm pretty sure this is what eventually becomes Rivendell, just because, like, in the Tolkien source material, like,
I thought maybe it was, where's the woods where Galadriel is hanging out when they find her?
That's Lorien, which I believe is on the opposite side of the mountain from, like, so there's Khazad-dûm, the mountain, that is Moria, where they go down and fellowship the ring. Lorien is on the east side. Everything, like, Eregion was on the west side, and Rivendell was on the west side.
Okay.
So if I'm understanding the geography correctly, there
are bodies of water there too, right? So that would make sense because they
like they go sailing down the river.
Yeah. Okay.
Forest. But I'm pretty sure this is Rivendell because again, in the source material, Tolkien writes that the survivors from Eregion go to this valley where they create Rivendell.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's probably it then.
Which has a
nerd.
Yeah. Anyway,
look at you reading books. I've also read those books. I just can't remember any of them.
Yeah. So Galadriel wakes up, and Gil-galad's like, look, things are kind of fucked up. Like, Sauron has his orcs army. Like, he can go anywhere and burn down
your
anything.
boyfriend's doing shitty stuff to Middle Earth. Thanks, by the way. She's like, he was so hot.
The survivors of Eregion have not had a good time. They're kind of broken.
Yeah, there's like one elf is like about to hang himself.
Yeah.
He's not having...
So our options at this point are we either track down Sauron, try to kill him, or we, like, fall back and build up some defenses, which might not even matter because Sauron has a shit ton of orcs.
And rings.
Yeah.
So...
But then he stands on the edge of the cliff and holds up his sword,
Yeah.
and all the elves are
He's
like,
like,
yeah, let's fucking kill him!
Or the third option, I say we all stand on this little cliff and hold up our weapons.
And pose like we're...
Yeah.
Pose like a band.
Get everyone super excited,
Yeah.
and then I guess we'll go on the attack after that.
Season ends, so we'll find
Like
out.
the one elf when he says all they're all having a real terrible day, and like the one elf who's just like ready to jump off the side of a mountain, like the one thing he needed to see was we're like 3 elves up on a fucking cliff holding sword, and he's like
4 because Arondir is there.
Right, and he's like, right, okay,
Yes, okay. I'm good.
Pulls the knives out. He's like, all right, let's go kill some orcs.
So this is when they mention Durin and his succession issues.
Right, because Elrond's like, hey, where's my buddy?
Durin.
Yeah, Durin. And they're like, oh,
He's in mourning.
Yeah, his dad's dead. He went to his funeral.
So he and Disa and the advisor, whose name I don't remember, are all chilling in the throne room, and they're like, okay, so good news, you're the king of Khazad-dûm. Bad news, all the other dwarf lords think you shouldn't be the lord of Khazad-dûm.
And you have like a brother who thinks he should be the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly bad news, we also have the 7 dwarf rings.
Oh, and there's a Balrog right underneath
Yes.
us. Welcome to your kingdom.
And also, you promised your wife you'd never put them on.
Yeah.
So.
And the scene ends with them all looking over the little stand with all the little rings and everything.
It's like, well, shit, what do we do now?
It's like, have you learned nothing from all of this?
So, yeah.
That's the end, right?
That's season 2.
Fucking, I was here for it. I liked it a lot.
It was entertaining. I liked it.
All right, let's talk about Joker Folie à Deux.
Okay.
Let's do some spoiler-free thoughts real quick.
So my first thought, if you go into this expecting a standard superhero movie with fistfights and lasers and explosions, you are going to have a very bad time.
It does not follow that formula at all. And
I mean, the first one didn't even follow that formula, really.
No, but there was a difference, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It isn't a secret that this film is not doing well on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Yep.
The critic score, or the people who've seen it already, and I think I know why. Let me just say this. We are halfway into that movie, and I'm sitting there realizing, because we've seen movies together, and you know that I fall asleep very easily when we go to see movies. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm still awake. I think I like this movie. And I do. Like, I know that the impressions aren't great online, and I think I understand what was missing from this one that was in the first one that people were kind of hoping for. And I would have liked to see that too. That being said, I liked it. It is, first of all, there's some things that can't be argued with. The cinematography is good.
Yes.
There are so many.
There's a lot of really well composed shots.
Yeah.
Great set pieces.
Joaquin Phoenix is a genius.
Yes.
His performance is so magnetic that, like, I wanted to see more and more of him on screen.
I don't think there's any other actor who could have done a better performance.
Yeah.
There's maybe a half dozen or so who could have been as good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He's insanely good. And you know what? I don't love Lady Gaga. I never have. And it's the reason my gay card was revoked in college.
Yeah.
She was also brilliant.
Yeah.
In this movie. And I like that they give her, so yeah, there are songs, right?
Yes. I would go so far as to call this a musical.
I don't know if I'd call it a musical. I don't think that it's quite that, because they're not singing the screenplay. They're singing.
Well, there's a difference between a musical and an opera.
Yeah.
It's not an opera, but I would call it a musical.
Well, a musical was kind of born from modern day musicals were kind of born from opera, though.
Mm-hmm.
They sing songs, but it's like most of them I feel happen in the broken psyche of Arthur Fleck.
Yes.
And this is the point I was making with this. In every other depiction of Joker, he's doing crazy shit where we don't see what it is, but something is happening in his head that no one else can see, right? And that's what I kind of saw the songs as, is like we actually get a glimpse into Joker's mind.
An awful lot of the songs are like that. Some of them we are meant to believe is actually him and Lady Gaga singing to each other in real life.
I liked the songs they picked. They picked good songs for it.
Yep.
They could have cut one of them probably, I think, and it would have been all right.
That brings me to my major criticism of this movie, which is that it is slow.
Yeah, the pacing is
slow.
Yeah.
It's a little boring at times, especially because there aren't those explosions and lasers happening.
Yeah.
So, if you go into it with that understanding, I think you can have a pretty good time with it.
I had it. I mean, it's not. It is not as good as the first one.
Okay.
And so let's get into some spoilers real quick. And we'll probably jump around a little bit. Like this isn't going to be in any certain order, like the events. So in the first film, what really grabbed me about that movie was like the first 2/3 of it, like the first 2 acts. I was like, okay, I get what they're laying down. It's very artsy, and it moves a little bit slower than superhero things usually move. And then the last act of that film is a masterclass on rising tension and having it just explode at the end, and then mayhem, right? And like particularly the last 10 or 15 minutes of that movie, when I saw it in theaters, I was on the edge of my seat, like, what the fuck is happening? And the sequel kind of felt like it was gonna do that.
It was trying to, I think.
And then it didn't really.
Yeah.
Like there is so this whole story kind of revolves around Arthur Fleck answering for the crimes that he committed in the first film.
5 murders.
Yeah.
Technically 6, but only 5.
But he doesn't tell anyone until the end, right? Yeah. I like how there are lots of courtroom scenes, and I like how during his closing statement, he's like, "Oh, and I killed my mom." You didn't need to know that.
It wasn't essential for you to know, but like, as long as I'm getting things off my chest here.
Yes, and I'll tell you, I smothered her with a pillow.
Yes.
Also, you probably didn't need to know that either, but it's on my mind. Figured you guys should know. Yeah. But so like he starts off the film. He's in a psychiatric ward. It's not Arkham. It's like
it is Arkham.
I thought it's like just Gotham.
I'm pretty sure it's Arkham.
Is it?
It doesn't really.
It doesn't matter
to
too
story,
much, but I'm not sure that it is Arkham. Though that
it's on an island in the middle of the bay,
right? Which I don't know, maybe it is, but he's kind of hanging out with all the other, the mentally ill, the mentally
ill criminals.
Yeah. And he's having to go to court dates and shit, and he
meeting with his lawyer and psychologist and smoking all the fucking time.
He smokes a lot. Yeah.
I think I can count on one hand the number of scenes in this movie where he's not smoking.
And even then, he's like about to ask if he can. Yeah. So he goes to meet with one of his lawyers, and well, what do you know? They're having a little choir practice in one of the rooms close to where he's meeting with his lawyer, and he sees a pretty girl,
Lady Gaga,
and she's singing, and she sees him, and he sees her, and there is an instant,
there's a little bond there.
Yeah, weird little. We're both fucking crazy. Let's go, talk about how crazy we are together. Yeah. There are also there's a guard played by the actor that played Mad Eye Moody. I was sitting there through that whole movie like, I know this guy from somewhere. Like, I just can't. Yeah. Like, I can't place it. And I was like, oh, hold on. If I pretend one of his eyes can spin on the spot, it's fucking Mad Eye Moody. Yeah. He is an interesting character for me in this movie because I don't understand sometimes what his deal is, because there are times when he seems like he's actually like kind of like he thinks Joker's kind of cool, and there are times where he doesn't at all, and I was a little confused by it. But basically this fucking guard just wanted someplace he could sing.
Yeah, and he just wanted to be in the choir.
So he brings Joker back with him so he has an excuse to go to the choir practice, and then they hang out. Yeah. The fucking Harley Quinzel and Joker hang out. And
they flirt. And
they have a movie night.
Yeah.
She sets a little cute fire.
It is not a little cute fire.
No, it like
she
it
nearly
sets half
burns down the entire building.
Half the hospital's on fire.
But like they run out and dance and kiss and
they have a nice little date. Yeah. It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Except for all the burning dead people.
Except for all the fire.
Yeah.
So he gets locked in solitary, and she comes down and says, "Oh, they said you're a bad influence on me, so they're moving me away," and all this.
Turns out that was a lie, by the way.
She tells a lot of lies.
Yeah, you mentioned after we saw this that there's a the general portrayal of this relationship in the comics and in the media, like the games and shit.
The animated series as well.
Right. That like Joker manipulates Harley Quinn.
Yes.
In fact, she's like one of the intake doctors when he goes in the first time.
So there's this weird love triangle in Batman, the Batman lore, where Harley Quinn is completely obsessed with Joker and loves him to bits. Joker doesn't really feel anything for Harley, but sees that he can use that.
He's a sociopath or a psychopath.
Yes, and he is completely obsessed with Batman.
Right, and is probably in love with him.
Yes.
The number of jokes he's made about Batman like fucking him, I'm pretty sure he's into it.
He is in love with Batman. Yeah. Batman doesn't like either of them. No. He just wants to punch them and put them in
I'm sad about my parents.
But like,
I'll never love anyone.
Because of that relationship is so twisted by Harley Quinn's completely unrequited love and Joker's complete manipulation of that. This movie turns that completely on its head.
Yeah, and we find out at the end why, I think. Because this isn't the Joker that we think he is. Yeah. Right? So let's get to the point. There's a big twist at the end of this movie. First of all, Arthur Fleck fires his
lawyer and represents himself with a southern drawl for some reason,
with full clown paint and everything, right? And it's fucking hysterical.
It is great.
And they bring in one of the characters from the first film, the small person that
Gary Puddles,
who he kills the other guy in front of and then lets him go. This actor, by the way, gave perhaps the best performance of the film.
Yeah.
Which is saying a lot because there were a lot of good performances.
He fucking killed it.
Yeah. I felt really bad for him because he gets on the witness stand and talks about how just witnessing that murder fucked him up so much. Yeah. You know. Also, I just remembered, and we should probably mention this, Harvey Dent is in this movie.
Yes.
And he is such a little priss. Like, the dude, you can tell he's like some young hotshot lawyer, and he's like, he's got this one in the bag and everything. It's also worth mentioning that there is like, and I can't tell if this was in Arthur's head or if it was just a reality. He's got like a fan base.
Yes.
And it's maybe in his mind it's larger than he thought, or it is actually kind of like,
I think it's actually pretty big.
Yeah, it's like that weird thing where like when a new serial killer is discovered and like there's a whole like flock of women who are like, fuck me please. Yeah. It's like that kind of thing. And they all show up in his court appearances, and it's like he's got his own fucking roadies and shit, you know. And so Arthur at the end of this trial,
the jury is reading the guilty verdicts, and then a fucking car bomb explodes and blows up half the courtroom.
Well, before that, he in his closing statement, it's like he breaks free of his psychosis and is like, no, I killed these people, and I'm sorry that I did, and I can't I'm insane
do this anymore.
Right.
Like I'm not the Joker. I'm just
me. Yeah, just a guy that the system failed pretty much. And Harley Quinn, who's watching from the audience,
gets up and walks.
Doesn't
out.
like this because it's like she's not in love with Arthur Fleck. She's in love with Joker, right? And the next day when they're reading his verdict, a fucking bomb goes off.
Yeah.
And this is where, if you've seen the first movie, where you're like, oh, here it is. This fucking until the end, it's going to be fucking a blitz, right?
Balls to the wall.
Yeah, and it isn't really. So
there's a neat little Easter egg in the scene where Arthur gets up and is walking through the courtroom, and the camera goes around, and you see like half of Harvey Dent's face is burned.
Yeah, right. Of course, they had to put that in. It's kind of like, and I could have done without that. It was fine.
They had Harvey Dent in the movie. Right. You have to do that.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. And like one of his roadies like helps him escape.
Yeah. Like, oh, dude, you're the actual Joker.
Yeah.
Get in the car. Let's go.
He goes to that offensively big staircase that's in that actually exists. I think it's in San Francisco or Chicago or something. I don't know. And Harley's there waiting for him, and he's like, "Hey, we can go away and be happy together." And she's like, "No, fuck you, unless you're the Joker, and in which case, okay." Which, by the way,
unless you're the Joker, which you just said you're not.
Yeah. She did tell him earlier in the film because they got to fuck. They did a little fucky. Yeah. And she told him that she was pregnant.
That was like the least satisfying sex scene of all time, by the way. He like thrusts 7 times and then just stops.
Well, that might have been his...
understandable because it's probably his first time.
Yeah, I was about to say he's Also, speaking of which, we learned some things about Arthur from his childhood that were also pretty horrific. Like his mom more than just physically beat him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gross and nasty. But yeah, he's like, you can tell he's never fucked anyone before. And he's like, oh, and I'm done. But she tells him that she's pregnant. And I think anyone watching is like, no, you're not. Don't fucking. But he
believes
is into that idea quite a bit. And he's like, oh, but we're going to have a baby. And she's like, okay, whatever. And then she leaves him there while the cops show up.
Pull up and they drag him back to prison.
And he's just hanging out in prison. The fucking guard comes up and is like, hey, you got a visitor. And they show this inmate a few times during the film. Enough where they did it just enough times for me to be like, who the fuck is this? Because there's like the one younger guy that they end up killing.
Well, there's a bunch of prisoners. I don't know if they ever give them names, but like they're recurring characters and like they kind of have personalities.
Right. Like the one is...
there's the guy who plays the trumpet in the yard.
The cornet, there's the one guy that is like tricked into asking Arthur if he'd kiss him.
Yeah. Which of course he does. Just full on.
Because he's like...
Why the fuck?
Like, you've never been kissed before? Like,
that's so sad.
I'll fucking kiss you. Like, what the fuck? And, which, by the way, he carried with him until his death. I think that... Because... There was a moment where like he's watching Arthur on TV and he like brushes his lips with his fingers, and it's like, so you were into that kiss because Arthur was like, "Fuck it, I'll give you a kiss, whatever," and just fuck. I'm sure everyone would be like, "Oh, woke DEI, blah 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 blah." But it's like he's like, you know how what is really sad about this is you've never been kissed, so I'm just gonna fucking kiss you. Yeah. And there's this other guy who's always at the back of the room watching Arthur, and I noticed. In one of the scenes, I don't think you're supposed to even immediately see him, but like someone moves out of the way and he's sitting back there staring at the back of Arthur's head, right? Yeah. And so while he is being escorted to this visitor at the end of the film, this guy comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, I thought of a really funny joke.
You a joke.
Yeah.
What did the psychopath do to the clown?
He stabbed him in the gut.
He stabbed him in the gut 7 times, and
fucking Arthur Fleck is mortally wounded.
Yep, just gets stabbed a whole bunch of times and fucking falls over and dies.
Now the focus of this shot is on Arthur dying, but in the background you see this guy cut a smile into his face, and this is kind of a huge twist and kind of a huge reveal that I think anyone who understood what they were doing in the first Joker saw this coming, because you might have noticed like the time period that they're in.
It's like the 70s or something.
Like early 70s. And if you're thinking, Batman is supposed to be like more of a present day kind of a thing. The age for Joker just wouldn't really work out because he'd be like 70 years old or something, right? So I think most people who were like paying attention to the first film were like, you know what's probably going to happen is like this is going to inspire what ends up becoming the Joker.
Modern Joker, yeah.
And I think that's because this is a younger guy, like he's probably early 20s. And he fucking, while he's laughing maniacally, cuts a smile into his face, out of focus behind Arthur Fleck, and he just fucking dies. Yeah. And you know what? This one thing I was like, well done. Like, I like that actually, because what a huge fucking risk.
This movie is so incredibly confident in everything it was doing. Yeah. Like if for nothing else, I respect it for that.
For good or for worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the script was written very deliberately at the very deliberate pace it was at.
Yeah.
All the musical scenes were very meticulously constructed to create the very specific effects. Like you are meant to see that this is all happening in Arthur Fleck's very damaged psychosis,
and sometimes not being able to tell what is happening and what's not happening.
Yeah, like there's one of these courtroom scenes where he starts singing, like picks up this stool and just bashes Harvey Dent in the back of the head.
Yeah, and you see there are moments like that where you're like, oh shit, like that came out of nowhere, and that's fucking like that's like one of those jolting moments where you're like, that's very effective.
But like this is the closest to art that you're ever going to get in a superhero movie, I think.
Yeah, I bet Martin Scorsese probably likes this one. I think people were expecting everyone in the streets,
Joker, chaos, explosions, guns,
standing on the fucking cab,
yeah,
surrounded like in the first film, and
it's not that.
But knowing what we know now about the fact that Arthur Fleck isn't who ends up being the Joker, apparently in this universe, like of course it wouldn't be that.
Yeah,
it's going to be that guy at some point, and I really wish that they had made it Barry Keoghan, because so in Matt Reeves' Batman, there's a deleted scene with like Barry Keoghan's Joker, and I think that they could have tied it to the Matt Reeves universe. But the thing is that the second, because first I have an ungodly crush on Barry Keoghan, by the way, I would have noticed him immediately, and I would have been like, Joker, that's fucking Joker, right? So yeah, I think people people wanted that big ratchet, big finish at the end, and it isn't. It's a much quieter, much more intimate end, but it's risky as fuck.
Yeah.
And they took a big swing, and you know what? I think some of the swings they took, they missed a little bit. But you know what my policy generally is? We need to reward when Hollywood takes risks like this, and not when they play fucking safe Zack Snyder bullshit, like bad bullshit. That's what they did for the first Joker. They took this huge fucking swing, this huge risk, and they knocked it out of the fucking park. And when they take risks, they're going to have some...
There are some that aren't that great.
Yeah.
And like, this is not my favorite movie of the year.
No.
It's fine. I would say it's...
Not even my favorite DC movie.
I'd say this is above average, but I'm so impressed with the artistic decisions they made and how bold they were in committing to them.
Yeah.
All the way
Unapologetically. They were like, we're doing something weird.
Yeah.
Fucking buckle in.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. Because that's what I got there and I was like, they're going to do something weird. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I knew what to expect. So I give it 6 out of 10.
I give it like, six and a half, somewhere around there.
All right. So we're going to take a quick moment. If I can figure out how to do this real quick.
Do that, and then...
Put the BRB up.
Ah, yes.
I'll be right back.
Featuring Salacious B. Crumb.
And you can vamp. You can do a little Arthur Fleck comedy segment.
I really
don't do that.
No, I really cannot emphasize enough how like jarring it is once he starts doing the Southern accent as his own lawyer. Like, it's not unintentionally funny, because it's very deliberately meant to get you to crack up a little bit. But like, he's so over the top with it. It's another one of those bold choices that I really respect about the movie.
Yeah. I just realized we're going to get another... Oh, no, we're not. I thought maybe we'd get another of our logos, but that's not how I have this set up.
There we go. Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Agatha?
Agatha all along.
Agatha all along.
It was Agatha all along. I love this. I fucking love this show.
Yeah, it's great.
Before we get into this, Heartstopper season 3 premiered a couple days ago, which Joe Locke is one of the like stars in, and it is such a sweet, innocent, wholesome show about gay boys who like each other that it just makes me so happy. And it's one of those things that I wish had been around when I was a teenager, because had I had seen gay relationships as they are portrayed in Heartstopper, I would probably be a little less fucked up now in general. Just the general acceptance, and like they both have parents that accept them, and it doesn't focus all the time on their trauma. There's conflict, but it's just so wholesome and it's so British, but which is fine. Like, that's not a bad thing. But it just reminded me that Joe Locke is a fantastic actor, and I find myself being drawn to him in every one of these episodes of Agatha all along. Because, look, he's going to be Billy Kaplan.
Yes.
Like, that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And my top 3, so they're like my top 3 favorite like MCU heroes, which are probably like Tony Stark, Doctor Strange,
Captain Marvel,
and Captain Marvel. My top 3 Marvel comics the characters are Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, and Billy Kaplan.
Okay.
And so like I am ready for Billy Kaplan, and I was so excited in WandaVision because we knew it was him.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't call him Billy Kaplan; it's Billy Maximoff.
Yeah.
Billy Kaplan's origin in the comics is very strange.
Yeah.
And it's though it's all over the place.
We're not getting into that.
So I what I'm saying is I'm so happy to see him in the show because he does such a good job, and everyone does a good job. Like
you have so many legendary actors. Like it's hard to have a bad show.
I don't know how they don't. Like I don't know how they have scenes with Patti LuPone where she doesn't just demolish everything that's happening and like she's such a legendarily amazing like stage actor, and she maybe this is because she's so amazing, knows when to kind of melt into the background and let
that is a skill that really good actors have, that they know when to just kind of rein it in and let other people have the spot.
And then when it's her moment, it's her fucking moment. You're like, oh my god, it's Patti LuPone. All right.
I guess that's the spoiler. We can get
it. Yeah, let's get the spoilers. Okay, so Sharon's dead.
Yes.
Who's Sharon? Well, she's dead. That's what she is.
Yeah.
By the way,
Teen is digging a hole.
Yeah, they're gonna bury her, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna bring her back.
I hope so.
There's a funny fan theory that I've seen more than one person buy into on the internet, which is that Sharon is Mephisto.
I am on board with it.
I think I would be okay.
I'm here for
it. But if you remember, Sharon was the stand-in for the Green Witch. So now,
no magic powers. She just liked to garden.
She liked plants, and she just wanted to go to a party.
And she was just
drinking
a lot of wine.
She did not deserve to die.
Nope.
I love her. She's fucking precious. So yeah, they're just gonna bury her.
Yeah.
And then they realize that,
wait a second, we don't have a Green Witch. We kind of need that to go down the road. So what the fuck are we gonna do?
By the way, Agatha is like, no, let's just go. We're fine. Everything will be fine.
She tries to turn and walk down the road with this.
She flicks her
cape twirl.
Yeah,
like she does this once. No one's following her. She's like, no, but seriously, let's go. Cape twirl.
Yeah, you can tell like this usually works.
She has practiced this cape twirl before.
Yes. And they're like, okay.
No, but seriously, can we have a Green Witch, please?
Yeah. Also, like one of them is like, okay, I want to get out of here. But I know that we can't go back, and I don't want to keep doing what we're doing. So maybe we build a house right here, and this is where I live, because like this is fucking insane, right? So their idea to fix the problem of Sharon dying.
Let's just call in a new witch.
Just conjure a new fucking witch.
So Teen breaks out his spell book, and Agatha starts chanting in Latin, and they all.
I like how Agatha's like, does anyone have a spell book? And fucking Billy Kaplan, who that is, like pulls his fuck. He's like, oh, do I have a book for you? Yeah.
I guess all magic is just in Latin. Like nothing, no magic existed before the Roman Empire.
Probably.
Yeah. So they're chanting, and then they like toss, like they have this human outline on the ground. They all toss in an offering.
That they do with leaves and shit.
Yeah.
It looks really fucking hilarious.
And they toss in and like mention what they want out of this witch.
Yeah. So like Patti LuPone is like, let's make sure that she's fucking competent.
Yes.
She's like the best in her field, and like potions lady wants her to be pretty, like she's like, don't make her fucking ugly. And then I can't remember what Rockstar lady wanted.
Doesn't matter, but they all.
Agatha wanted to make sure that, or one of them wanted to make sure that she wasn't annoying, which I thought was really funny. Like, just make sure she's not annoying.
So they finish the spell. Nothing happens for a few seconds, and like, what did you read it wrong? Like, what's happening? And then an arm breaks up from the ground like a fucking zombie, and fucking who should dig themselves out of fucking Sharon's grave but Aubrey Plaza?
Fucking April from from Parks and Rec.
She's like, hey guys, what's up? I'm Rio.
And
Agatha is like, oh my! Of all the fucking witches, why are you here?
Of course it's you. Like, fuck this. They, throughout this entire episode, starting now at this point in the episode, there is so much sexual tension between Agatha and what is her name even? Rio. That like I expect them to start dry humping at any moment during the episode.
And like the other
like grudgingly.
Yeah,
like they wouldn't be happy about it, but they would be dry humping.
The thing is, like, the other witches are looking at her like, I don't know if she scares me or if I want her, or if I want to fuck her.
Yes.
Like,
probably.
By the way, I owe you an apology. After like the first 2 episodes came out, you said like, I'm pretty sure all these characters are gay, and I was like, I'm not too sure. No, they're all gay.
Yeah,
everyone's gay on this show.
It's what's gonna be really funny is that all the incel boys were bitching about space lesbians from Acolyte, and if this show fucking ends with a group witch scissor orgy just to piss everyone off,
I'm sure that would actually be Katie Hahn's preferred ending for the show.
Oh, sure.
Just like be specifically because it would piss everyone off.
Yeah, and then
she seems like that.
And then like Joe Locke's like just for posterity, like writing about it in his little journal. Yeah.
So they go walking down the road, and they come up to a house, and Alice Wu is like, "I'm not going in there." She turns around. And
fuck that. Down. That looks like a house straight from the 70s. I don't think so.
And she walks down the road, and the same house is in front of her. Yeah. She's like, "Well, fuck."
That's one of these.
So they all go into the house, and as soon as they walk in, they're all in incredibly 70s up rock star outfits.
So like Joe Locke is like Mick Jagger, right?
I guess, yeah.
Agatha is very obviously Cher.
Okay.
In fact, she and Rio are both wearing these stunning, like, I have never seen so much side boob.
Yeah.
In
There's
Marvel
a
before.
lot of cleavage.
Yeah, and I was
episode.
like, me, a gay man, was like, damn. Like, those are some nice titties. I'm just saying, like, goddamn. And then, what's her name? Looks like they all look like famous rock stars from that era. I just can't remember which ones they were off the top of my head. Who was the one with the glasses?
Alice.
Yeah, she looks like. I'll look it up. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're all supposed to look like rock stars from the 70s.
Rock stars. So they're looking around.
And this house is very 70s.
Yes, extremely so. Yeah. And they're all looking around trying to find the clue for what's going on. Agatha goes into this studio room, and Rio follows her in, and they start talking. And Agatha just casually activates the intercom.
Yeah.
And is like, so what's going to happen when we get to the end of the road? And Rio's like, well, obviously you're going to betray them all. And Agatha's like, and then what's going to happen?
Keep going.
I'm going to get my bodies. And
yeah. Which was a kind of a crazy, like, you're like, what the?
Yeah, is she necromancer?
I don't understand what her deal is, because I thought she was a green witch. I thought she like.
I don't know.
Maybe she can both. I don't know, but like everyone on the other side of the glass hears.
It's like, what?
This is, by the way, remember, put a pin in this like, you're going to get your bodies thing, because there is a poignant and kind of heartbreaking one-word line from Agatha later on in the episode, having to do with Billy and everything. Mm-hmm. I really hope he ends up. I'm going to start calling him Billy, and if it ends up not being Billy, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. It's like that whole time we called Grogu Baby Yoda, and I still call him Baby Yoda because I called him that for such a long time.
So all the witches are like, what the fuck? And meanwhile, Billy's like, I'm going to go put this record on. And it starts making ungodly noises, and everyone's freaking the fuck out. And they're like, why did you play that? And he holds up the record sleeve and says, play me.
Yeah. And they play it backwards.
Yeah.
Right. And
they all realize, shit, we've been cursed.
Yeah, you've put a curse on us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And they work out that Alice's mom recorded, like, her version of The Witch's Road was altered from the original spell into a spell of protection to protect
her daughter.
Yes.
From the spell.
From the curse.
Yeah. Or the curse, right.
So they're like, okay, we got instruments here. We need to fucking play the spell. Let's get to it.
Okay, so everyone's got their own instrument.
Yes. So Billy's got a guitar.
Yeah. Rio's playing drums.
I don't think Aubrey Plaza actually plays drums.
I don't know.
Like, she's kind of doing it, but she's being a little ginger about it.
Well, the thing is, like, I always get the sense when they do reaction shots from her where she's just like, she's happy. She's just trying to figure out, like, what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Where she's not necessarily, she's just there for the ride. You know, she's there for the entertainment.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if she took some.
So anyway, Alice is playing piano. Potions Lady has the bass, and Agatha is lead singer. Patti LuPone, by the way, is like, I only play pan flute and like weird little
antique
percussion
cymbals.
toys.
Yeah.
So like every shot of her, she's playing some different little percussion,
like
she starts
auxiliary
with little
percussion.
cymbals,
Yeah.
and she has maracas.
Yep, and then like a triangle and shit.
Triangle.
Yeah,
It's great.
It's one of those moments where she's not front and center being amazing. It's just like she's in the back being amazing.
Yeah.
And if you look for it and you're like, oh my god, shut the fuck up, like you're so amazing.
So Agatha starts singing, and they realize halfway through, holy shit, we can see this like hellfire demon up there. That must be the curse.
Entirely practical, by the way.
Oh,
if this were any other MCU show, that would have been fucking CG and crunchy and weird.
Yep.
And it was it was scary, like kind of freaky. You could tell it wasn't real, but like there's a
it was done well.
Yeah, but like practical shit like that, like practical creatures have a certain charm to them where like you don't necessarily care that they look super real. It just you just understand the general vibe of it and everything. And yeah, it was things just sitting up there on the wall like, fuck you guys, I'm a demon.
So they sing the whole song and the demon fucking dies.
Song's good.
Yep.
Fucking they rock the whole thing, and it's cool. There's a spot before this where
like some glass explodes and
Joe Locke gets thrown through the window, and then while they're playing the song, he's got like a piece of glass like
stuck in his gut.
And because he's a sweetheart and he doesn't want to mess anything up, and he doesn't want to be the guy that everyone's like, oh, of course, he keeps it to himself.
Another thing we kind of forgot is earlier in the episode, like the curse kind of takes them one by one. Like this demon is invisible, but it's like perching its fiery talons on their shoulders.
Yeah, and they have to do like a protection.
And Alice
thing.
like grabs Rio's knife and like carves a circle around them while screaming something in Latin, and it makes the demon go away.
I like the joke where they ask the potions lady, like, "Where are you just gonna live in that circle?" And she's like, "Yeah, actually, I might."
I am.
Yeah.
So anyway, they take Billy out and take him back on the road, put him on.
They vanquish the demon, and their way out, the fucking grand piano pops open.
Opens up, and there's the hole. And then Billy's like, guys, I don't feel so good.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm about to pass out, guys.
So they take him down to the road and like, they're like, okay, potions lady, how do we fix this? And she's like, I need water and moonlight. So she fucking makes.
Which, by the way, they pull the glass out. Don't ever do that.
No,
if you're in this situation, fuck it. First of all, call 911. Yes. Not that you can on the Witch's Road anyway, but if you want with someone with this kind of injury, if you want to kill them very fast, pull that fucking glass out, because that's a great way to do it. So
she does her thing, and the wound closes, and he's okay.
This is a spot where they're trying to figure out how they're going to help him, and Agatha looks at Rio and just says, "Don't." And just one word, but so much fucking pleading, and you can tell that like there's something about teen that has really kind of like grown on her, and I think because she knows more about what Rio's thing is, and I'm pretty sure that was he's not dead yet, motherfucker. Back on.
You can have these other bitches.
Yeah, right.
This kid is off limits.
Right. And this is even more apparent that when Teen wakes up and Agatha's right there,
and they have a nice little conversation. Until he asks about her son, at which point she gets up and just
puts the walls back up, and it's like, fuck off.
So the other witches are sitting around the fire, telling stories about
all their battle stories,
battle scars, and Agatha comes down and fucking shows this scar she got on her elbow from, I think, a darning needle or something.
It was from some coven or something. She's like, have you ever heard the Coven of the Witches from blah blah blah? And they're like, no. And she's like, fucking right, you haven't, because I fucking killed them.
And then Rio's like, yeah, I have a scar. I was in love once, and that sucked.
I was in love with someone I'm not going to mention.
Someone who's definitely not sitting at this campfire right now.
Yeah, I like how everyone else is like, oh, this is uncomfortable.
This is really awkward.
She's clearly talking about Agatha.
So Agatha gets up and walks away, and Rio follows her, and like they have this moment where like they're about to kiss, and then Rio's like, that's not your kid, right? Agatha's like,
you ruined the moment.
We were having a thing here.
We were so close to
now
scissoring.
Now I'm gonna have to walk away. And Rio's just like, yeah, Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah.
That's the end of the episode.
Yeah. Again, this show is so great
it's so gay.
Yeah, I know. And
it's also great, but it's also very gay.
Look, I will grant that I am the demographic for this show.
Yeah.
Like all of the gays and their women friends are all the demographic for this. And I realize that isn't necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but honestly, if you're like, ew, it's gay, I can't watch this, you're probably gay. I'm just saying, I've run into so many of these fake homophobes who are like, every fucking opportunity they have to disparage the gay community or say something homophobic. And it's like, motherfucker, you were the first one down at the truck stop on the weekend when your wife is getting groceries, giving blowjobs under the stalls. So shut the fuck up. You're not fooling everyone. It's okay for you to like a gay show. Mm-hmm. Like, no one's going to figure out that you have a secret Grindr account. It's okay. Just fucking enjoy it. Yeah. The Penguin. Let's do this one quick.
Okay.
Because a good episode.
Yeah.
But it's out of all the other shit happening this week, probably not the least important.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So we find out that Sophia is truly crazy.
Yes. Serial killer.
Yeah.
Would be in prison if not for
money, probably.
Money, and B, she's a mafia princess, and C, has some legitimate mental issues.
Yeah. By the way, female serial killers are exceedingly rare. They are insanely rare. Almost all serial killers are white men who are between the ages of like 18 and 35, I think. Yeah. Or it might be a little later in life. It might be like the 30 to 50 range.
That sounds more accurate, actually.
And that's like 99% of all serial killers. And when you go by rarity, women serial killers are exceedingly rare, and black serial killers are very rare. Like it's crazy how this one weird thing that as a culture we've like has come out as a weird divergent thing is so attached to like just white dudes, right? So anyway, it's kind of neat though that you know, she's apparently a legit, you know, serial killer.
Yeah.
She has a weird relationship with her therapist, who I think might want to give her the fucky a little bit.
I think so.
But he's got a light thing
that triggers some incredibly traumatic mememories, and she freaks the fuck out.
It looks like the red eye on the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. So I like, so far what I like about this show is that this is just the Penguin having a plan. And then the plan starts crumbling, and he's like trying to put fires out, right? Because that's what this episode is.
So like he's transporting the Maroni, the Falcone's drug operation is moving out of town,
and the Maronis are going to come in.
Yes. So he's talking to the Maronis, saying, "Hey, you can ambush this convoy and take all the stuff. Here's what you do. I'll be in the back car. Do not shoot that one.
Yeah.
But you can get all the rest."
And the first problem with this plan is like
he shows up, he's about to get in the back car, and someone higher up the chain says, "Hey, what the fuck you doing? Get in the truck."
Yeah, you're in the front car.
It's like, God damn it.
And he's like, and you can see he's like, shit, how am I going to make this work, right? And he does. Yeah. That's the thing about I like about this version of the Penguin is that he adapts very quickly, where like he can kind of like tell when the hit's about to happen, so he gets up from his seat to go tell a joke to someone in the back, and that way he's not sitting in the front seat when they shoot the driver.
Yeah, the driver gets shot. He pulls out his gun, immediately shoots the other two guys in back, and is like, okay, they don't know that I'm in on it. Like the Maroni guy comes in, he's like, whoa, no, I'm with you. Like, just take.
We're
take
friends, remember? Yeah.
The driver's like, you fucking traitor.
Who's not dead yet? Yeah. So he shoots him.
Damn it,
fuck off. Yeah.
So he gets out of this.
Has the wherewithal, by the way, to read the battlefield immediately and notice that the Maroni guys are gonna like they're not doing well. So he kills one of them in front of another key player, so that it's like a Snape thing, right? Where like he's
keeping his double cover,
right? And he's like, in the dialogue later on, that guy was like, like, what's his face would be fucking dead if it wasn't for Oz.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of the hero of the fucking moment.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had it in you.
So Sophia like contacts an old detective who was on her dad's payroll and is a drops addict, and is like, hey, I want you to do this thing for me. Find this one dude who like this was an inside job. Find out who it was for me.
Right.
And like
the killing of her brother, by the way.
Yeah. Find out who killed my brother. He's like, well, I don't really want to get involved. He's like, here's some drugs. He's like,
oh, I love drugs.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So he goes out to find this out. She gets called to the mansion in the middle of the night right after this hit happens, and she walks in and they're all talking about the money. She's like, dude, the Maronis are fucking dicks. Why can't we just wipe them the fuck out?
Do you think that's a little
like
extreme?
Well, the money doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that they disrespected us and they got away with it.
Yeah. I like how they're just like, sit down, little girl.
Yeah.
let the boys figure this out. Yeah. She's like, I'm going to hang all of you.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
So like she gets out of there and Oswald falls around and is like, well, you were kind of right. I think we could work together. And she's like, are you trying to manipulate me? You trying to use me a little bit? And he's like, no, I would never, no, of course not.
They have a little party, right? It's the wake.
Funeral.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, brief side note, like Penguin gets a phone call, goes out to see his mom. Like she's apparently
not doing well.
Like her dementia is acting up. She was out wandering, and it's real sad.
He tells a little story about her to Sophia during the funeral, and very expertly lies and makes her believe that his mother has died years ago.
Yep. This is a very big weakness of his. Like you can tell, he really loves his mother.
His mother is a liability for him, and the smoothness that he tells that story and that lie, he's really good. Yeah. And because I was like, what do you mean she's? Oh, I get it. You don't want anyone to hurt your mom.
Fantastic. What's this actor's name?
Colin Firth. He's so good. Yeah. Well, what's crazy is that he's so good with all of that prosthetic.
And like hobbling around.
Right.
With his...
Yeah. So they go to the after party, the funeral after party.
So Penguin's plan is he's going to frame.
Oh, okay. So hold on. This fucking detective that they hired, just instead of gathering information and writing it down in his book, just takes one of the Maroni guys from the hospital, kidnaps him, puts him
in the back of his car
with his morphine
still
drip,
hooked up to morphine,
and shows up to
at the
wake.
He's like, hey, Sophia, I got your information.
Doesn't look around to see if anyone's looking. Just opens. He's like, look what I found. And they're like,
you fucking idiot.
Yeah. So she's like, okay.
All right, we can salvage this. Bodyguard, stick him in the basement.
Yeah. And
make sure no one sees you.
You need to get the fuck out of here, you crazy fucking guy. And so they lock him up in the basement. And then Penguin knows something's up. And he's able to overhear a couple things, and he knows that they've got a Maroni guy down in the basement who's going to probably figure him for the
So his
betrayal.
plan to move himself up the organization, he wants to frame one of the higher ups for killing the brother.
Berto,
yeah. So like he's like, okay, so driver, you're gonna plant these jewels in his car. I'm going to get in there and do my little thing, and we'll all walk out of this perfectly.
Well, you'll walk, I'll hobble, but yeah.
So the driver fucks up and gets caught by security and goes running off.
This poor kid, by the way.
Yeah.
He's
Vic,
trying to.
Vic is his name.
Yeah, he's trying to ride this knife's edge between. Maybe Penguin just kills me.
Maybe I get rich and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Also, maybe I kind of like him. Like he's weirdly like I don't know.
He's kind of a very fucked up parent.
Yeah, like he's like weird mentor figure.
Yeah, like at one point they had a party in Penguin's apartment and Penguin tries to set him up.
Hook him up with hookers. Yeah.
Set him up with this cam girl.
Yeah, that is actually really funny. He was legit trying to be his wingman.
And Vic fumbles it completely because he's incredibly
He's like,
awkward.
like probably 18 or something. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Yeah.
So
don't ever talk to cam girls. I'm kidding.
So Penguin figures out that, okay, this guy's in the basement. Like he lets this slip to some of the higher ups in the Falcone.
He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in on the plan. So what about the guy in the basement?" They're like,
what
the fuck are you talking about?
So
our basement?
Yeah, so they go down there and like lead Sophia's bodyguard out, and they're fucking talking to her about it, and Penguin goes down there. Is like, okay.
He wakes him up, fucking smacks him around a little bit.
What I need you to do?
Yeah.
When they tell you who killed Alberto, you need to say Nick Vitti or whatever.
It was Doug Stamper from House of Cards.
Yeah. Doug Stamper. Like, can you say that? It's like, yeah, Doug Stamper. All right, gotcha. So he's about to leave. He realizes, wait, shit. Like, he gets a call from Vic saying
the Jules operation has failed,
yes.
and he's now running around the grounds, hiding behind a tree.
He's like, well, shit. I guess we can't frame Doug Stamper. So,
right.
Hey, guy chained to the bed, you gotta die now.
So
flicks out his knife.
Hate to do this. Him. Yeah, I hate to do this, but business is business.
Yeah. By the way, the Maronis had sent Penguin to save this guy and like get him out of there.
Yeah.
So they're probably not going to be too happy with him.
Well, they don't know that he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he can just be like, some fucking.
Well, they know that he failed at
right.
least.
Yeah.
So like. The Falcons find this dude dead in the basement. They're like, all right, lock down the grounds, fucking find whoever had the knife. We gotta put him away.
Yeah.
So Penguin, in brilliant scene, finds himself standing in line next to the guy that he's
Doug
trying
Stamper.
to frame.
Yeah.
And like he picks a fight with him, and they go after each other. Like,
and one of the bodyguards pulls him off of him.
Yeah. So like they keep searching, and they find the knife in Sophia's bodyguard's pocket.
Not Doug Stamper's.
Yes.
Right.
So, like, Penguin was trying to plant it there, and in the confusion, it went in the wrong pocket. So, Sophia's like,
No. This was purposeful.
Really?
He absolutely... Because you can see when he does it. He puts it in his breast pocket.
Oh.
Like, think about it. This bodyguard was one of the few survivors of that thing.
Oh.
So it would make sense that he was the guy on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was one of the very few that made it out alive.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He just fucking in a brilliant bit adaptation.
Of improvisation.
Yes. Yeah. And they find the knife on him, and he has no idea. He's like, the fuck?
Like, I didn't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, why would I? And the boss just shoots him dead.
Yeah. Well, because Sophia's going to fucking ice him right there.
Sophia's about to shoot him, but the boss is like, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah, fuck you. That was my
Then he's like,
nephew.
okay, Sophia, I know you're under a lot of stress right now. I think maybe it would be best if you just went to Italy for a little while. Just get you out of the city.
Fuck out to Italy. Eat some
your
spaghetti.
mind. Yeah.
Everything will be fine.
And she's
Drink
like,
some wine.
You know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I just need to get out of this city for a little while. So they've assigned Penguin the duty of burying
the body, of course.
So which means he's
delegated.
Vic.
He's delegated it to Vic. Yeah.
So Vic is digging this hole and dumping the bodies in. And Penguin, he's like about to get out, and Penguin's like, "No, get the fuck down of that hole. Lie down next to those corpses where you belong.
Yeah.
You miserable fucking failure."
This, by the way, is a scene. It's an important scene for his character because Penguin is not a good guy.
No.
And sometimes, like at the end of that first episode, when they needle drop fucking Dolly Parton and they're having their little moment together, you can't help but think, "Oh, that's fucking cute," right?
They are mafiosos.
Yeah.
Like there are no good guys here.
Yes.
Penguin is just our
and
guy.
he will kill anyone if it means getting to the top.
Yeah.
But
like we saw how quickly the plan changed from this guy's going to help me frame Nick
Doug
Vitti
Stamper,
or whatever, Doug Stamper, to I need to kill this guy right the fuck now.
Right. And then on the other side of that coin, also, I think feeling an obligation to get Vic to understand, like, there's one way you win this game, and it's by being like me. Mm-hmm. So, like, unless you want to be in the ground with these fucking guys,
get with the program.
Right. And
the last scene,
there's a conversation between Sophia and
Sophia's
Penguin.
down in the family crypt looking at her father, her mother, and her dead brother.
Mm-hmm.
And Penguin comes down and she's like, I'm not going to Italy. I'm going to take out all the motherfuckers above me in the pyramid, and I'm going to run this city. You want to work with me? And Penguin's like, I thought you'd never ask.
His exact fucking line is, "Let's dance."
Yep.
And it was like, damn, dude. Because, like, so Sophia's obviously insane and dangerous, but her actor's so good that, like, I really love her. Yeah. And both of them together, that's going to be really neat. That's going to be really cool. All right. I think that's been
we
quite
have
enough.
we have gone on more than long
So
enough.
much to talk about tonight. I'm kind of glad we're done, honestly. What is today? Saturday?
Yes. long.
Steven says, Joker sucked. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry you felt that way. It didn't suck. It was not.
It was not fantastic.
best- yeah.
It was not going to change the world, but it's okay.
It was fine. Yeah. So tomorrow, Sunday, we are doing another episode of Gungan and Dragons, season 2, episode 12.
I don't know.
The party is in grave danger, and we're almost dead. And I made a post on Reddit last week that was like, my party's in the Traveler subreddit.
Yeah.
It was like, my party is boned. I need to Kobayashi Maru this. What do I do? And has like 50 fucking replies and shit.
Good for
so
you.
that'll be at 7. And then we'll be doing Battlefront and Outlaws throughout the week. So thanks for joining us.